Calling all Less Than Jake fans. The second leg of the Summer Circus 2025 is happening soon. We'll be starting out west in Phoenix, Arizona on Friday, July 25th, and taking it all the way through until Saturday, August 16th, where we wrap it all up in Nashville, Tennessee. Join us for a night of rambunctious ska punk music with our friends Fishbone, The Suicide Machine, and Catfight. Grab your tickets now at lessthanjake.com. The Summer Circus 2025 is almost here. Limited VIP tickets are available for each stop as well. Those too can be found at lessthanjake.com. Bring your dancing shoes along with your circus-themed outfits. We can't wait to see you. This episode is brought to you by DistroKid. Hi, everybody. Today's guest is singer-songwriter Bella Peadon from Charlotte, North Carolina. Together, we break down the writing, recording, and inspiration behind her 2025 standalone single, Miss Montana. Bella showed up on my radar about a year ago with great songs, lyrics, and melodies. She put together a band last year and started gigging around the North Carolina area, building up a fan base and honing her craft. I came across a live in-studio video recently of Bella performing Miss Montana, just her and her guitarist, and it was incredible. I reached out and asked if there was a recorded version, and there was. She had just finished recording a studio version of the song in Nashville, Tennessee with producer Jim Riley and some amazing local musicians. When I heard the recording, I was floored. This track is perfect. Her vocals and melodies are haunting. Nathan Wyatt absolutely kills it here with the vocal production, and her lyrics are captivating. Bella has an impressive DIY work ethic as well. She prints her own merchandise, books her own shows, and is gearing up to release her debut EP this fall. So make sure to listen and find out why Miss Montana is my favorite song so far of 2025.
Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast. Hey, hey, have you heard? Krista makes a podcast.
Bella, we're halfway through 2025, and hands down, this is my favorite track, favorite song that I've heard this year. And I mean that with everything I have. This song is awesome.
Wow, that is high praise. Thank you.
Well, for everybody tuning in, I had heard a couple of your tracks, and I had seen a live video, and then you had done an in-studio with your guitarist. And I was like, what is this? And it was the song we're going to talk about today, Miss Montana. And immediately, I was just captivated by the tune. It's got a haunting quality to it. And I just want to kind of pick your brain a little bit. You know, you've been writing songs for about what? I say 2 years now you've been playing live, but how long have you been writing songs for?
Well, I've actually only been playing live about a year now. I would say this June it'll be about a year. And I've been writing probably for like 4 or 5 years, but not seriously until like nothing that I really thought. I haven't been writing for any serious reason since, I started maybe 2 years ago, possibly 2 years ago. Everything else I wrote before that was very much just like, you know, at the time I was like, I'm never going to play live. So this isn't for anyone. This is for no one else's ears. And it was never really a very serious thought about what I wanted it to sound like. It was kind of just something that I did for fun, and I still do it for fun, but now I do it for more than fun. So that's exciting.
Well, I think that fun is the key word here. You know, when I watched a couple of the performances, you're building up a little following in the North Carolina regional area. And what's cool about it, when I was talking to you off recording here, you had mentioned that, you know, you're printing and doing your own merchandise, and that do-it-yourself aesthetic is so cool to me because the playing field is so different now than when even when my band started. It's how do you get out there? All the time I have parents that have kids or friends, how do you make it? They say, how do you get your stuff out there? And I almost feel like it's more daunting now. Yes, we have social media and all these platforms, but everybody has that.
Right.
You're fighting to get seen and get known. And, you wrote this track. How did you get hooked up with everybody? Because, you had sent me over the credits that you wrote this song solely by yourself.
Correct. Yeah. So the song is written by me, and I have a bunch of people that worked on it with me regarding like production, a lot of different musicians. So the production was by Jim Riley. He's based in Nashville. Him and I met via Instagram. He kind of reached out and said, "Hey, I really like your stuff. If you ever want to work with me, let me know." So we kind of met that way. But there's also vocal production on there that's not by Jim Riley. It's by Nathan Wyatt. And I have a very special place in my heart for Nathan because before I had ever recorded anything professionally, and I had only done like Red Wine is one of the songs on Spotify. I did that like totally as like with a friend who doesn't do it professionally. We just like sat in his house one day and he had like a little mic set up in his closet and we just like recorded that. And then he like did a little bit of editing and I was like, this might be fun, just releasing a song. Looking back, like I know a lot of artists feel this way, but like you look back at your old projects and you're like, what was I doing? Like, I don't know about this, but now I'm kind of at a point where I'm like kind of appreciating and less loathing the things that I feel like I didn't do well in the past because it's taught me so much. And so Nathan Wyatt, who is also in a band called Oceanic in Charlotte, he does some production for a band here in Wilmington called Lady Di. And I really love Lady Di. They are really, really, really amazing. Julia Rothenberger is the vocalist for that. And I started listening to them on Spotify and I was like, this production is incredible. I'm looking for someone to do production professionally with me. At the time, I had some stuff written and I wanted to get some more stuff put out on Spotify. So I reached out to Julia and I was like, hey, who does your production? I think it's phenomenal and I'd love a name. And she was like, oh my God, Nathan Wyatt. I went to college with him. He's incredible. She gave me his number and he literally immediately like felt like took me under his wing a little bit. Like he's only a little bit older than me, but he has so much experience and is just so wise beyond his years and like knows everything. At least for me, it felt like he knew everything because I came in with zero knowledge of anything. I came in with zero production knowledge. I came in with zero knowledge about,
Okay, I got to stop you there because you answered my question. I was like, how did this come from conception? You wrote this song because, again, no knock on your other recordings. Okay, you even said they were kind of rush jobs. You wanted to get your songs out there. When I heard this, I was like, wow, there's not a producer out there or a recording studio, in my opinion, that you could have made this better. This song's a hit. This song's awesome. And I just find it so cool that you found what I feel are the right people for you. I looked up Nathan Wyatt and wow, it's impressive. He definitely knows what he's doing. I don't know how to produce vocals like that. The treatments and the pre-delays and everything going on. I call it atmospheric. And we're going to get into that when we get in the track. But the team you put together here is incredible.
Yeah, and the guitarist also. I mean, we worked with a guitarist, obviously a bassist and drums in Nashville. Adam Ollendorf, he was the guitarist on this, and he actually has worked previously. I don't know if you looked him up at all, but he's worked previously with a lot of really great artists. One of them being Casey Musgraves, which is funny because every time I show people this song, a lot of people are always like, it really gives kind of Casey Musgraves slow burn kind of vibes back in that era that she had. And I feel the exact same way when I hear it. And when he played it in the studio, it was just like, wow, like he got it immediately and he knew. And it was just so cool to see that come together.
Well, you had listed one of your inspirations was Maggie Rogers, and my old guitar tech was out with her last year. And they were opening stadium shows for Coldplay over in Europe. So, you're in good company with that. But yeah, and let's talk about drums were by Jamie Dick. Is he another guy from Nashville?
Yeah, he's a session musician in Nashville.
Okay.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Okay, when you got in there, you're playing the song for Jim Riley. Did he immediately get out a metronome? Did you know where you wanted this song, or did he work on the tempo with you? How did it evolve once you got there?
I kind of knew, I think, this song specifically, I kind of knew exactly where I wanted it to head. So, like, I was sort of in the studio, like, I knew the tempo. I knew, because I wrote it on the guitar, so I kind of knew sort of an idea of like how I played it on the guitar and maybe handed it over. They gave me the option to play the guitar on my own, and just have me record the guitar. And while I do think that's awesome, I really wanted to get someone else's take on like what they hear when they hear the song, even when I do play, because I tend to kind of gravitate toward the same vibe for everything, and I want things to sound different. I want other people's perspectives on it. So.
Good for that's such a mature take. Good for you, because I don't know if I would have wanted somebody to play on my record when I was, a younger musician. That's healthy, I think. That's good for you that you were open to that. I would have loved to have heard you play guitar too. I've seen you play live, but I think it's cool that you trusted in the process. I talk about that a lot on this show. Sometimes you have to trust the people that you're working with. But at the same time, I don't feel like you were in that studio that you would have let something fly that you didn't like. I think I would have heard that. And I picked through this song, listened to it enough now, Bella, that now I'm looking for anything I don't like about it. I'm serious. I'm trying to find something that I'd change, and I honestly can't. And I'm pretty tough. How long did it take you to do the track? Did the band go in and record the basic tracks live, and then you did overdubs, or were the drums recorded first?
So all of the instrumental was recorded in one day. So all of the session musicians were in there one day. It took the whole day. Me and my dad both, we drove out to Nashville together, and it took a full Saturday. I think that they recorded guitar first and then drums. The one thing I will say is that something that I'm very picky about, and the reason that there is vocal production by Nathan and not vocal production by the people that I worked with in Nashville is because I'm so picky about vocals. And when I got to that studio, it seemed as though it was sort of like a glossed over, like, oh, let's just do a quick, and I'm sure there are people out there that can do it this way. Let's just do a quick, like just a whole vocal take, like no stops, and then see where it lands. And then we'll do one more. And then like, whatever. It just seemed kind of glossed over in the process. And that was something that I was very like, when I sit down with Nathan and we do vocal tracks, we go through every single one, like the verses, the choruses, everything, because I want each section of the song, I would like it to feel cohesive, obviously, but at the same time, like, I'm picky. I'm also like very hard on myself, I think, when it comes to like vocals and things. And so I can hear one thing and I'm like, no, we're doing that again. Like, that is not right. And so I decided we would do everything in Nashville except the vocal tracks. I went back to Charlotte that next week and I was like, Nathan, I don't love the way that we did vocals in Nashville. Can we do vocals and you do the vocal production and we'll send it back to the people in Nashville? And he was like, absolutely. And we took probably 2 full days just to do vocal tracks through background vocals, lead, all sorts of stuff. So harmonies and everything. And I really that's something that I really love is harmonies and like the building of vocals. I think that's something that I look for in songs when I think about what I like. So I like to take my time and really think about like intentionally where those are going to be and like how they sound. And if they don't sound the way I want them to, then I'm going to do them again.
Well, and I know this fella, Nathan Wyatt, that did the vocal production. I know he's good. I can hear it, but nobody can make you sing the way you sing. Nobody can make you enunciate the way you enunciate. No one can make you come up with the harmonies. They can guide you in the right direction. And how was that when you got, and we're going to get into the harmonies here in a little bit when we comb through the song, which some of them are absolutely amazing. Did he work on those with you, or did you come in completely prepared with the harmonies nailed?
No, he worked on those with me. And that is another thing that I love about Nathan is that he totally I came in and I was like, this is the song. I've got the lead vocals, obviously, that's written. I want to figure out how to make it big, like sonically. I want to figure out how to make it sound, like you said, hauntingly, like beautiful was your word. Like, I love that. And I want that to be a part of the song. And that was very intentional. So he and I sat with each other and like, we would go through it literally like line by line, verse, chorus, and just sit there and kind of just hum harmonies to each other. And then like, if I heard something that he sang or he hummed in a harmony that I thought sounded cool, I was like, wait, I like that. And then we'd track it. And then we'd listen to it and be like, well, I feel like maybe we can do something better. And there was like layers and layers and layers of harmonies that we had. And we broke it down and ended up picking the ones that we thought felt the best. And so, it took a while. And Nathan is a genius. And we just have such a great vibe when we work together, I think. And so we ended up making it awesome.
Once you did the vocals back in North Carolina with Nathan, did you send all the tracks back to Jim? Did he mix the song as well?
Yes. I think that all of it is mixed and mastered, I believe. Alex Sadek and Jim Riley both.
Okay. Awesome. And we're going to get into the song right now. It's 4 minutes and 6 seconds. We have an 8-bar acoustic guitar intro. And it almost sounds, I'll tell you, the production on this track, and I've listened to it, I don't know how many times. My notes are pretty extensive here, but is there an electric going on here at the top too?
I believe so.
I think so. The mixing is really cool, and there's stuff going out. Guitars we'll talk about in a little bit. Panning on the left and right. Great finger picking here, and you had touched on a second ago saying I play a certain way, and you said something to the effect of I might not stretch out or something. I might just kind of keep it the same way and not branch out. I feel that way a lot when I'll go into track rhythm tracks, and it's so good to have somebody else in my band or a producer. Hey, what about phrasing it this way when you did it? So I think that's really neat. The finger picking here is great.
Yeah.
And was it in the same world that you were kind of playing it?
Yeah, I think for the most part. I mean, one of my goals is to become a lot better at. I can do a minimal amount of finger picking, and I can kind of figure out some fun stuff, but not anywhere to the extent that the guy who did guitar, Adam, comes out and is just he probably listened to me play the song once through and then sat there for maybe 5 minutes and then was like, okay, I've got an idea. And then he starts playing that and I was like, that's phenomenal. I love it. And so it was sort of just I didn't even really have to give him any pointers. He heard what I played and then he was like, this is what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think. And immediately I was just yeah. The way that he got it was crazy.
If you got along with this team, I would at least try to work with them again. I think it's phenomenal what you come up together. After the intro that just sets up this mood, I don't know if you've ever, I'm going to talk about them again, a song called Clocks by Coldplay. That has this, just from the minute you hear the piano intro, it just pulls you in. And this is the same, I get the same feeling with this tune. Rodeo Red. Little East Coast girl got all of her things packed up in the bed, full of daydreams of the life that lies ahead. She said.
I wrote this song about a time in my life when I was leaving. I was obviously, it's very literal in the East Coast girl got all of her things packed up in the bed. I was leaving the East Coast. I was graduating college and I was headed to Montana to move there for 6 months. And I wrote this song actually when I came back from Montana to North Carolina after that was all done. So it's sort of looking back on it. But I was sort of at this place where I was really coming out of a relationship sort of, and kind of figuring out okay, this is a time for me where I need to kind of leave things behind that are not working for me, especially when it came to living in North Carolina. I felt like it was really my time to go and explore someplace crazy and new. That was Montana for me. It was sort of I'm going to leave behind, I have amazing friends in North Carolina and I had such a great experience, but I was just ready for new. I was ready for more experiences. And so it's very literal. I packed up all my things and I drove in a car, just one car, put everything that I had with my mom. And we just drove for, I think it was a 36-hour drive all the way out to Montana.
Yeah, well, it sounds fun, but that's a pretty brutal drive.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
And now, are you Miss Montana, or does that stand for Missoula, Montana?
No, I would say when looking at it's me. It doesn't stand for
Okay.
Missoula, but now that I think about it, that kind of works.
Where were you at in Montana?
Missoula.
Oh, you were in Missoula.
Yeah.
Okay. I've played Missoula. I haven't played there in a long time, but the last time I was there wasn't much there. I'm sure it hasn't changed too much.
It is so awesome. It's such a cool place. I feel nostalgic for it now. When I was there, and I guess unrelated to the song, because I didn't really touch on it in the song really. because this was sort of, the song's written from a perspective of like, when I am looking to move to somewhere new and I have no idea what it is, I'm only like romanticizing it in the positive ways. And, I got there and obviously I didn't stay there because it didn't end up being for me long term. Montana is a small place and I was looking for something a little bigger. And I was a freshly graduated from college and it was hard to make friends out there. I did make friends out there, but it's just a whole different vibe.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, I played Missoula one time before you were born, probably. Yeah, 1997 with Blink 182 in Missoula. The only time, and I remember that it was just they call it God's country out there. It's just open wide. It's one of the most expansive states out there. A lot of cool things going on here in verse 1. I'm gonna probably say the vocal treatment is killer in this song like 30 times because every section has these great parts. After the first line, "Seeing a rodeo red," there's a guitar overdub panned off left, this little arpeggio. It's so sparkly and perfect. We also get that overdub after the second and third lines. We get the first harmony in the song on "Full of Daydreams of the Life That Lies Ahead." And right then, this high synth panned off right comes in for the last lines of verse 1 before we get into the chorus. That harmony there, why there? I always ask that to guests because I'm fascinated by harmonies. You could put harmonies anywhere. There's some songs that are major hits on here I broke down that don't have one harmony in it. And this comes from bands that are known for their harmonies. So I'm always interested in why there.
I don't know. I think like at the time I probably would have said, oh, no reason except for the fact that we recorded it and it sounds really great. But like looking back, "Full of Daydreams of the Life That Lies Ahead," like a really big theme for I think the song, whether people kind of pick up on it or not, is the fact that like I'm looking at this place thinking like this is going to be like, this is it. I'm going to move here. It's going to be like my dream place. And I'm daydreaming about it all the time. The entire last semester of college, I'm like so ready to get out of North Carolina. I'm going to move to Montana and this is going to be it for me. Obviously that it wasn't that, but it was great. And it just like a theme of the "Full of Daydreams," it just all felt like one big romanticized daydream for me of the mountains. And, it kind of comes into the chorus and like all the kind of visualization. But I would say, yeah, I think that's probably a really great time to add the harmonies because that's when it starts to build into the idea of like what the song's really going to be about.
And I like it. The harmony doesn't take your head off there. It's very subtle. And, I want to go back real quick to the vocal production. I think that's the greatest thing you could have done with this was step back and do that. Because to me, what you're selling here, and I think the musicianship's great. I think the track sounds great. It's pro. It could be on the radio. It could be with next to anything out there. It stands up. But I like the fact that your vocal that's what's selling it for me. And I think that doing that vocal production was the absolute right thing to do. The track sounds awesome, but the band's right here. It's what that vocal's doing that just sells the whole song. After you say "she said," we get this tom on the drums, this doomp that takes us into the chorus. And when the drums come in, again, I feel like you just hit it out of the park here. When I program drums, there's this one in the program called Singer-Songwriter. And it's this bass drum and snare that, it sounds a lot like what's going on here. A very muffled bass drum, almost kind of, I would, akin to 70s rock maybe, but absolutely perfect here. Drums, bass, those acoustic guitars are all here. The acoustic guitars get really playful strumming-wise in the chorus, and that electric guitar is playing great accents panned off to the left. We get single tambourine hits on all the even bars with the snare. I want to talk about that. That's cool. So on the 2, the 4, the 6, the 8 bars, there's a tambourine hit on a single with a snare. Did you have anything to do with that? When did that process come?
No, that was actually all the drummer. And I remember like vividly in the studio in Nashville and, Jamie Dick was the one who did the drums. And I think that like if I'm recalling correctly, at the end of the session, after like all the drums were kind of recorded, he was like, wait a minute, let's see if we can add a tambo to this. Would you want that? And I was like, hell yeah, like give it a shot. I'm always down to at least hear something and see if it might work or it might not.
And it gets even more interesting later because the tambourine skips some single hits we're going to get to. I think it's just genius. It's so cool.
She said, I'll be like a wildflower, growing vines on a fire tower.
I'll be like a wildflower, growing vines on a fire tower. Take a drive, cross the world. I'll find me, you'll find yourself a girl. Oh, the mountains are calling me, singing songs I just couldn't see. Montana, I'm free.
I think with this song, and I can remember like quite vividly writing it on my porch in the house I live in right now in Wilmington, and kind of just like picturing for the chorus, I really wanted it to like elicit a lot of like visual like images in my mind. When I think of Montana, I think of very beautiful views and just so many amazing things, especially in the summer when I lived there. And so I remember first getting there, and it was right when the wildflowers were blooming, and Montana was just absolutely like ridiculously gorgeous. And so that's like the first thing I think of. And I'm like, okay, wildflowers. I want it to be very like naturey. I want the whole song to kind of really feel like I'm eliciting the nature aspect. Because I also, my degree was in environmental science. I went there for environmental. I did a term of service with the AmeriCorps, and I was there doing outdoor work for the Bureau of Land Management. So like that was my life out there, was just like outdoors, nature, hiking. And so that felt really important to me to make sure that the song included that. And so have you ever seen a fire tower before? Have you ever been on a fire tower?
Yeah, I have. I haven't been up one, but yeah, of course.
Yeah. So like I've been on hikes even in North Carolina on fire towers, and they always have the most beautiful view when you get to the top in the mountains. And so like when I'm thinking of views, I'm thinking of fire towers and wildflowers. And you keep going through the chorus talking about taking a drive, and I'll find me, you'll find yourself a girl. I was talking to someone at the time when I was still in Wilmington, and I kind of was thinking like, okay, well, I'm leaving, I'm going to Montana. Like, it wasn't super serious, but I think that, on one side, they kind of wanted it to be. And I think I was just sort of a back and forth of like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I leaving this behind? Is this like the right thing for me? Am I trusting my gut? And I did. I left and I trusted my gut, and that person found themselves in a different way than I did. And I left and I found myself in Montana, and they found themselves in a different way. And, that's sort of where that part comes from. And I've always been a very independent person, and finding myself on my own independently has always been super important to me. So Montana was a place where I really was able to find myself and figure out like what I wanted, like what do I want to do with my life. It's where I connected with music and decided that music was something I wanted to pursue, not just as a hobby, but as like professionally one day. And so that's where that decision was made, and which is also why, it comes into play in the song. So and then the mountains are calling me, the mountains of Montana, they were calling me. That it's very literal, singing songs I just couldn't see. I was before Montana, I had no idea what I was going to be getting myself into, like in a great way and also in a surprising way. And, you look towards it, and like I said, you romanticize it a lot. But at the end of the day, like leaving to go to Montana really felt like a freeing thing for me, which is sort of all the way through the chorus and ends with Montana, I'm free, because that's sort of how it felt when I was leaving to go there.
Hey everybody, don't go anywhere. We got lots more coming up with Bella Peadon after a few words from our sponsors.
Looking to elevate your music career? DistroKid is a digital music distribution service that enables musicians to distribute their music to online stores and streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon, Tidal, and many more. DistroKid collects earnings and payments, sending them to you, the artist. With DistroKid, artists unlock a world of possibilities. From easily paying collaborators with splits, to securing your music with DistroLock, DistroKid covers all bases. Plus, you can promote your releases with Hyperfollow and create eye-catching visuals with a Spotify Canvas generator, all for free. But that's not all. Introducing the DistroKid app, now available on iOS and Android. Artists can manage their releases, view streaming stats, and withdraw earnings, all from the palm of their hand. And for those looking to perfect their sound, check out Mixia. With its simple interface and customizable mastering options, artists can make their music sound polished and professional within minutes. And don't forget about Instant Share, DistroKid's newest feature. Share large files securely with collaborators, producers, and more, ensuring your music streams at the highest quality. Ready to take your music to the next level? Download the DistroKid app and explore their suite of tools today. Plus, listeners can enjoy 30% off their first year by visiting distrokid.com/VIP/demakes. That's distrokid.com/VIP/demakes.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. Enjoy complimentary access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with a welcome offer of 150,000 points after you spend $20,000 on purchases on the card within your first 3 months of membership, your business can soar to new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
Let's play Burlington's Guess That Price. Back to school means back to saving. We're bringing you kids' jeans starting at, hold on a minute, just $11.99. Burlington's acing this test. What about character backpacks? We've got them starting at $12.99. Burlington's done it again. How about sneakers for the kids? A-plus brands and right on trend starting at $11.99. Saving is now in session. Burlington, deals, brands, wow! Styles and selections vary by location.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages. Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password. To WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey everyone, Krista Makes here, and I've got some exciting news. Krista Makes a Podcast is now on Patreon. Your support is what keeps this show going, allowing us to bring you deep dives into amazing songs from incredible artists every week. When you join our Patreon at KristaMakes.com, you'll get instant access to hundreds of episodes of The After Party, our weekly bonus show where producer Chris Fafalius and I talk music history, trivia, tour stories, classic albums, and whatever else comes to mind. Plus, you'll get early ad-free episodes of Krista Makes a Podcast, unedited video versions of each episode, and, of course, a brand new episode of The After Party every single week. If our show brings you a little joy, help us keep it going strong for just a couple bucks a month at KristaMakes.com. Not ready to commit? No problem. You can sign up for a free membership while you decide. Thanks so much, everyone, and I hope to see you all at the After Party.
And now, back to the show.
On the line, Take a Drive Across the World, we get some ooh vocals panned left and right. And Oh, the Mountains Are Calling Me, we get those ooh vocals. They're a little more pronounced this time. Again, panned left and right. On the line, singing songs I just couldn't see. That high synth panned off right comes back in. And on Montana, I'm Free, it's like this chamber echo, I call it. It's just kind of swirling around, and it just gives that atmospheric, haunting quality to it. You know, your harmonies, where you put them in this song, they're not all over the chorus here on chorus 1. Those oohs are kind of filling up that space, and I like it because when the harmonies come in later, especially when you reach for some of those higher notes, it's absolutely killer. After chorus 1, we go into a 4-bar re-intro. At the end, we get a beautiful arpeggio from that overdub guitar panned off left with a cymbal crescendo on the drums that's nice and loud to bring us into verse 2.
Left and broken in blue. I could lie and say that I feel bad, but I've got shit to do. Can I tell you what's true? Ponderosa skies in late July. No, I would never give this up for you. I'll be like a
Left him broken and blue. I could lie and say that I feel bad, but I've got shit to do. Can I tell you what's true? Ponderosa skies in late July. No, I would never give this up for you.
It kind of goes back to the, you know, finding me, you find yourself a girl in the chorus. It's sort of just like the personification of, you know, I say him, but generally like him is just like my old life, and like hoping that like me leaving and going somewhere new is going to be, I'm leaving all of this behind and I'm coming into something new. And I think also I found that when I graduated and I was about to leave, a lot of people kept asking me things like, oh my God, are you sad to leave? Are you, you know, like everyone sort of started looking at it like, oh my God, you're going to Montana and this is terrifying. And like, are you scared? Are you nervous? And I was not. Like, looking back, I probably should have been, but like I was so ready to go. And I felt like saying I could lie and say that I feel bad. Like I could lie and be like, oh my God, like I'm not ready to leave. I'm not ready to graduate. But I was ready. I was ready to get the hell out of Dodge. I was ready to like find something new. And obviously I would miss people, but you know, it was time for me, and I knew that. And then when you kind of move into the like Ponderosa skies, another very visual thing. Ponderosa, from what I remember, is it's a type of tree in Montana.
It was also a really terrible steakhouse back in the 80s.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, they had one where I grew up in Port Charlotte, Florida. Yeah, it's called Ponderosa. Yeah.
You know, what's funny, I actually wrote about the steakhouse. That is the...
yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, I love... talk about that a little bit. I love that visual. Let's talk about Ponderosa skies.
And I would say, like, so the song was written by me, and, you know, but when I brought it to Nathan and we were kind of, like, looking at vocals and stuff, there were, like, sort of parts of it where I was like, okay, like, can this be improved? Like, can this word that we're talking about be improved? So we would sit there, and Nathan and I would kind of just brainstorm, like, okay, what's a word that can like give a more visual, like a picture in the mind. Like I really wanted it to be very, like you can almost visualize being in Montana, seeing those views and like what I picture when I think of it. And so we're sitting there and we're just looking at flowers in Montana, trees in Montana, like mountain adjective, you know what I mean? Just kind of going through like what could work, what is a better word than maybe what I had before? How can we make this just a little bit better? And we spent a while doing that, and then landed on Ponderosa, and I was like, wait, I think that would work. And Nathan kind of like sang it and I sang it, and we were like, yeah, let's add that in, and end up landing on that. And so, no, I would never give this up for you. I think looking back at the experience, knowing that like maybe it wasn't the permanent place for me, I would do it all again. And I learned so much about myself, like I said. And so that kind of pulls all of that into the song as well.
That's awesome. Well, drums, bass, and guitars are all in here on verse 2. Is there a Rhodes keyboard playing lone notes here in verse 2? Do you remember if there was a keyboard part that came in?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's an instrument that, gosh, I sound probably insane and crazy for not knowing this. But it was almost like a keyboard, but it was like a older
guitar.
I don't know. I'm going to lose my mind. I knew it looked like a keyboard, but it had more of a haunty feel.
Okay.
Older.
Yeah, it sounds like a Rhodes or a Leslie here or something.
It could be. And that was also the addition of, I'm trying to remember, Alex Sadik. We did all of the, I believe it was his studio, his at-home studio with all of the instrumentals. And so he pulled it out of like his closet, like just like these crazy, he had all sorts of, instruments and things.
I'm definitely hearing something panned off to the right, and it's awesome. It is, again, it's very subtle. You can feel it come in. You're like, what is that? I listened to it over and over. I'm pretty sure it's a keyboard, but there's so many layers and parts coming in and out of this song, and it's mixed absolutely brilliantly. You talked about in Nashville that the process was a little bit disjointed. That's why you wanted to go back to North Carolina. And when you started doing vocals, did you just like sing it 5 times through and then Nathan comped what is known as comping your vocal, where he just took the best parts? Or did you actually work on sections like, hey, let's go into verse 2. I really think we should build this part and do it that way?
Yeah, we did it like that. We went section by section. I would sing it in the way that obviously I had been singing it. And then we would listen to it and we would listen to every part of it. And then Nathan would be like, I think we could maybe go up here and, change the ending for this and maybe change this part, because I think that it could just add a little bit of something to it. And so I'd sing it again and then we'd listen to it. And he probably tracked, like I said, I mean, we tracked the, for every section, every verse, every chorus, we tracked the main vocal probably like 5 times. And then he would pick whichever one sounded best, whichever edit or whichever sort of difference in whatever the line was or whatever the section of the chorus was. You'd pick whichever one sounded the best, and then that would be what went in the song. And so I appreciated that so much, because that's the part that I think is the most fun. And I love all the instrumental, and I love to hear all of that come together, and I appreciate it so much. But like my favorite part of the process is always picking apart the vocals. How can we make this sound better? How can we make the background vocals sound great? How can we make the harmonies sound great?
Well, when you're editing vocals and when people do it well, and Nathan does it well, little nuances and little things. There's little hooks in here. When you say true, okay, the word true, there's like a personality that jumps out of the speakers on that one word. Taylor Swift is amazing at doing that. Okay, whether you like her or not, she has these little cutesy things that she does that they're amazing little hooks. And that's why I wondered if, combing through this, how you would approach the vocals, because that really jumped out of me, the way you say true. Man, Ponderosa Skies, Late July, the harmonies on that are amazing, as well as the last line, No, I would never give this up to you. And we got to talk about those tambourine hits. We get the tambourine with a single hit on the verses here, like the chorus. It's on the snare. It's on the 2-4, but it skips number 6. It skips the 6th bar. It goes to 8, 10, and 12, and then it's out for the rest of the verse. When it skips those 4 bars there between 4 and 8, it lets your vocal breathe there. It's genius. Again, the team you put together, congratulations, because not a thing here I would change. I absolutely love the placement there. And on the last line, we get an awesome turnaround on the snare. There's like a skip ahead there that leads us into chorus 2. So awesome. I never would have thought of that. You know what I'm talking about, where that snare takes a jump in there. It's so good. Let's talk about that real quick. Did you discuss that with Jim Riley, the producer, or anybody else, like, hey, or the drummer, Jamie, we should do this skip here? Or did he just instinctually do that?
That's just the genius of Jamie. I had really nothing to do with it. He played it, and that was sort of just something that he had thought of, and I heard it and I was like, yeah.
For you, I'll be like a wildflower, growing vines on a fairy tale. Take a drive across the world, I'll find me, you'll find yourself a girl. Oh, the mountains are calling me. Singing songs I just couldn't sing. On antenna, I'm free.
Chorus 2, We get the same lyrics as chorus one, the same instrumentation as chorus one, but those ooh backing vocals are on the first 4 lines. They come right in now. You don't save them. And talking about building the song, and I had to listen to the chorus too a couple times to wonder, why does this sound different to me? What's going on here? You know, obviously the whole production seems like it's a little bigger. The instrumentation might be a little bit louder to lift chorus 2, but those backing vocals on the first 4 lines, they're subtle, but they're awesome. The tambourine now in chorus 2 is playing consistently. You're not just getting those hits on the snare here, and it gives the chorus a little push. You know, this song isn't a fast song, so it kind of keeps things moving here. And I thought a moment ago that you were talking, because I swear in chorus 2 here, but it's probably a guitar overdub. You were talking about something that looked like a keyboard. Have you ever heard of a pedal steel?
It is. It's a pedal steel.
Okay. Okay.
I knew as soon as someone said it, I was like, yes.
Okay, so that's what I'm hearing. Oh, so he was playing a pedal steel. And for those listening, you may have seen you sit at a pedal steel. Typically, you'll have their little rings that are picks on your fingers. And basically, it looks like a guitar instead of keys on a keyboard.
Yes,
so it's like a flat video game you're sitting at.
I have like an image in my head of, I believe it was Alex who sat and did it and was like, I feel like we can add something to this. And it was just awesome.
I've never played a pedal steel. I imagine I'd be horrible at it, much like a banjo, which I had played. I was not good. But okay, so it's a pedal steel. I think that's also going back now to what I'm hearing in verse 2. It's subtle. It's not like, oh wow, there's the pedal steel. It's super country and twangy. It is awesome here. So that's what that is. On the line, I'll find me. You'll find yourself a girl. The high synth is only on this line, panned off right, and on Find Yourself a Girl, your melody changes there. You go up, and it's just, those are the kinds of things that, you know, when you're, what I call it, when you're selling a vocal, you know, this wasn't a copy and paste job. You didn't take chorus 1 and be like, oh, we can just flip it.
Oh yeah, no, they're all separate, and we always do it that way.
For this kind of music, you know, you can get away with dance music and what I call disposable pop. And I don't use that as a 4-letter word, but you can get away with copying and, you know, it's the same chorus 4 times. But for this, that emotion, I think, is paramount and you need it. Oh, the mountains are calling me. We get the oohs left and right. They're nice and loud this time. I love that. Also on chorus 2, we're getting these ghost notes on the snare. And I think he's playing some of them. I also think it's an echo effect there, and that adds a nice flavor to chorus 2. We then get into an 8-bar arpeggiated guitar part that is playing over the drums, bass, guitars, that synth panned off right, and the tambourine. I like this part. I like it because it's simple. You don't really have to think. You're just kind of still on the ride, and then it sets up the bridge perfectly, which is one of my favorite parts of the song. I don't think you needed anything more fancy than the 8 bars with the guitar kind of doing its thing here. Was that part talked about? Was there anything else there that you had ideas to do, or was that what it was?
You know, I think originally when I brought the song to everyone, I think that part was shorter. But once I heard the way that Adam was playing it and him just kind of doing his thing, and that was sort of what came out of him naturally, I was like, I love it. I think that it's great. I do think it really does lead into the bridge really, really well and gives the bridge a great setup for what's to come. And you talk about how there's a build in chorus 2 and there's a difference and you can hear it. And I think that that's something that for the music that I love to listen to and like the way that I really, really love to make music, I think I love the build. Like the build is my favorite thing in a song, especially when it comes to like a build of harmonies, a build of vocals, because there's always, most of the time there's build in the guitar and the drums and like that's, you know, to be expected. But I think that building vocally, especially with harmonies and background vocals, is just so fun. And so that was very intentional. I wanted people to be able to feel that.
Well, and I'll tell you, there's every band, every artist is different. We're all different human beings. There's some bands where the song and the musicianship is all the hooks. The vocalist is okay, the vocalist makes it work or whatever, but this tune to me is all about the vocals, and what you did here with Nathan is fantastic. I think that the whole rest of the song centers around what the vocals do, and the bridge is just so good. It's just acoustic guitar, and that guitar panned off left along with an amazing vocal treatment and panning. This is the part I wrote atmospheric exclamation point. This is just lots of swirling going on and just feel good vibes.
She'll change her mind. It's a matter of time. She'll be alright.
She'll change her mind. It's a matter of time, but she'll be all right. Again, literal, but straight to the point, right? It's what you wanted to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk about how like I'm sort of, I think this is a turning point in the song because I think in the first two verses, verse two choruses, it's very like I'm looking ahead at Montana and looking ahead at that experience. And when you get to the bridge, I think I'm like experiencing and about to leave that experience and realizing that like my mind is being changed about like what I want and where I want to be. And that's sort of like the bridge literally in that point in my life of like, okay, I'm going to change my mind. And that's going to happen a lot. It's a matter of time. It's going to happen again. But I'm going to be fine. And, then I kind of move into like, I'm sure, and we're going to talk about it, kind of talking in a sort of looking back at the experience rather than looking at the experience as it's a future experience. So yeah, it's definitely a big part of the song, a big shift in the song.
I love at the end when you say, but she'll be all right. Because as soon as the music kind of comes to a crescendo, there's a 2-bar holdout that's just that echo kind of swirling around. And it's this tension, but as a listener, it makes me feel reflective, like, but she'll be all right. It's almost like you're questioning yourself and you're thinking about it for 2 bars.
Right.
And then wham, it pulls you right back in for chorus 3. Now you get personal again. It comes right back to you. It's just guitar, vocals, and those oohs.
I'll be like a wildflower, growing vines on a fire tower. Took a drive across the world. I found me, you found yourself a girl. All the mountains are calling me. Singing songs I just couldn't sing. Montana, I'm free.
I'll be like a wildflower, growing vines on a fire tower. Took a drive, crossed the world. Now this says crossed the world this time instead of cross, and that's intentional.
Yeah.
CROSSED.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's going on there?
That is me looking at the experience as a past experience rather than like this is something that's coming up in my life.
Cross it off your list.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay, I just I just noticed that when I was I'm glad I read them back and didn't say, hey, it's the same lyric again. That's really cool. I found me. You found yourself a girl. Oh, the mountains are calling me. Singing songs I just couldn't see. Montana, I'm free. Just guitar and vocals, that first line in the oohs, and then we get a little bass guitar run and a small little drum fill that takes us into the rest. On the second line, growing vines on a fire tower, took a drive across the world, and I found me, you found yourself a girl. The oohs are all up an octave here. You've climbed. And man, that just lifts this chorus where those oohs are sitting. Growing vines on a fire tower. An electric guitar panned off right comes in. I think that's the pedal steel that comes in to the right there. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. The harmonies and melodies change here. On the lines, took a drive across the world. I found me, you found yourself a girl. And oh, the mountains are calling me. All the melodies are changing there. And you said you worked with Nathan on that. I think you hit it out of the park here at the end with what you did, having these lyrics really lift here in chorus 3.
Yeah, like I said, very much intentional, very much the build that we really wanted. I really wanted us to come into chorus 3 with just like the big, this is sort of like closing out the song, like almost like the period on the story or whatever I'm telling about my experience. And, the lyrics also change, crossed the world is past tense. I found me, you found yourself a girl. It's past tense. So it just, like, the tense of it changes. I'm kind of looking back on it and like, okay, like that happened. And like that, I learned so much from this, and like, looking back and kind of reflecting. So yeah, chorus 3 is very much about that.
No, thank you for pointing that out. I did not notice. I found me, you found yourself a girl. It does change tense. I'll tell you another favorite part of my song. I mean, this is just goosebumps galore, is when on the line, oh, the mountains are calling me. You do like this call and response. Oh, the mountains are calling me, backing vocals. But the oohs are also there at the same time. So man, there's a lot sitting in there, but it never feels laborious, like I'm getting hit with too much.
It's funny because I remember, and Jim Riley did an amazing job at the production and doing all of this, and the mix and master was great. But I do remember it coming back to me and saying once or twice, at least once, maybe twice, kind of fighting for the harmonies to be louder. Because I mean, that's a part I think a lot of people kind of really want that really, really, really low in the back. And I completely understand why people want to do that. I wanted them to be louder. I wanted them to be a little more noticeable than what they were in the beginning. And so, the first kind of 2 drafts of that were just a little bit, I think, less. And that was definitely an intentional decision for them to be a little more in your face, but in a way that I feel like is not too in your face.
That's awesome. Well, on the line, singing songs I just couldn't see. It comes to a crescendo, and then you say, Montana, I'm free. It's just vocals. And then we get an 8-bar outro halfway through. You say, Montana, I'm free, with yet another new nuance in the melody there. And there's also a harmony when you say, Montana, I'm free. And then the band all ends together. And that's the song. And, I had heard some of your stuff prior to this. This was in my opinion, your first real recording. I mean, that you've done. What did you think sitting there listening to this back? Because to me, it's incredible. This is light years beyond the other stuff that I had up to that point heard you create.
I think, like, for me in my head, I heard this song, and like I said, I have a tendency to really downplay the stuff that I do because I just am very hypercritical. And that's a blessing and a curse. It's a good thing and a bad thing, I think. And I mean, I thought it was, I love the song. The song holds a very special place in my heart, but I didn't hear it and was like, this is it. Like, this is so much better than all the other songs that I have done. It just felt right. Like, it felt like it sounded the way it was supposed to. And then when I started sharing it with other people, then everyone was like, this is amazing. Like, I shared it with my family. They were like, we love it. My dad was obsessed with it. He cried to it. And I was like, wait, I just didn't even like, it didn't hit me in that way. And it's.
Let me back up. As I say things sometimes, and I don't want you to take it the wrong way. I think I said it was light years above that. That's bad to say. This song hit me differently than your other material hit me.
Yeah.
I wanted to restate that. It just hit me. And when I heard it, I was like, wow, where did this come from? Because sometimes that happens with artists. I've loved bands and artists. I've heard stuff from them before, and then all of a sudden you hear this song and someone's like, you know who that is, right? You're like, no, that's something. What?
Right.
And you don't know who they came in contact. You don't know what's going through with them. And why it's so fascinating, why I love doing this podcast, and why songwriting is so cool to me. It's just, think if you wouldn't have taken that trip to Montana, we probably wouldn't be talking. We may not be talking right now. So, that's the inspiration for songs is absolutely beautiful. So you got a debut EP coming at the end of the summer, beginning of fall 2025. Is Miss Montana going to be on the EP?
I don't think so. No. I think Montana is definitely a single. I also think it's a very unique, like, sort of backtracking. I'm moving to Nashville in 2 weeks.
Nice.
So that's going to be like a big change for me. And I think that Miss Montana is I love the song and it's very special, but it's not necessarily the direction in which I want to take, I think, my next EP in. I think it's very acoustic based. It's very indie singer-songwriter specific. And I love that. And I think that my next EP might be a little more, rock kind of vibes and maybe a little more on the pop side, because that's just what I've been playing recently and what I've really been having fun doing. And I've been playing with a band here in Wilmington, which I'll sadly be having to leave. But, it's sort of just like the era that I'm in. And I think the next EP sort of needs to reflect that.
I love it. And you're all over online, bellapeadon.com. You're on Instagram, TikTok. You got like 18,000 followers and counting. And that's awesome. YouTube, Apple Music, and tour dates coming up. You got anything? I know you're moving to Nashville, and are you going to be putting a band together there, or is that still ahead in plans?
It's so sad because I wish with all my heart that I could bring my band with me. We've become so close and we have just improved so much as a band. And it's Logan Sherwin, Garrett Dayton, and Antonio Romano. They're amazing. And I literally owe them so much for how I've even gotten where I am right now. But yeah, hopefully getting a band together in Nashville. I've got one more date on tour, and that's going to be at Reggie's in Wilmington, North Carolina next weekend. That will be the 24th of May.
Awesome. Well, listen, thanks for taking the time to sit in with us. And I look forward to seeing where you take your career, because I'm really excited. This song's phenomenal.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Maybe one day he'll give it a rest, but I doubt it. I doubt it. While all the leaves change colors of painted lovers and unsung mothers and shore. Well, I've got some friends here will travel the mud. Now there's much to be said about you.
Hey everybody, the song you're hearing right now is Bella's single, The Best. This song is awesome too, so make sure you go check that out. And don't go anywhere, we got lots more Krista Makes a Podcast coming right up after a few words from our sponsors.
Lowe's knows when you're looking for reliability, the right brand makes all the difference. And now, Lowe's is the exclusive home improvement retailer for the Whirlpool water treatment line, including their Wi-Fi softener, under-sink filtration system, and more. With Whirlpool's proven performance and our everyday low prices, better tasting, better quality water is within reach. Shop pro-trusted brands like Whirlpool and more, in-store or online. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab, LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
Prime delivery is fast. How fast are we talking? We're talking puzzle toys and lick pad delivered so fast you can get this puppy under control fast. We're talking chew toys at your door without really waiting fast. Pee pads, cooling mat, and peg hammer fast and fast. And there's training TREATS faster than you can say sit fast. And now we can all relax and order these matching hoodies to get cozy and cute fast. Fast free delivery. It's on Prime.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.
Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants across the country, anywhere, nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. Goldbelly ships Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garden's famous cakes. So, if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT. That's goldbelly.com, promo code GIFT.
Heather is a nurse practitioner from United Healthcare.
We meet patients wherever they live.
During a house call, she found Jack had an issue.
Jack's blood pressure was dangerously high.
It was 217 over 110.
So they got Jack to the hospital and got him the help he needed.
He had had a stent placed in his heart, preventing a massive heart attack.
If it wasn't for my guardian angel, I wouldn't be here.
Hear more stories like Jack's at unitedhealthcare.com. Benefits, features, and/or devices vary by plan, area, limitation, and exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Chris Fafalius here. Look, how many times do I have to ask you to go subscribe to One Hit Thunder wherever you get your podcasts? I'm sure you've been listening to Krista Makes a Podcast forever, and if you like this podcast, you'll like that one too. You get to hear us talk about Take On Me or Flagpole Sitta or Tipsy or whatever song we're doing that week, and we laugh a lot and we learn a lot. And sometimes we discover that a band is actually way better than their hit song, or sometimes we learn that the band totally sucks and should never have had a hit. But regardless, it's always fun. One Hit Thunder, just go subscribe wherever you get your pods.
As we near the end of the show, here's a band you might not know.
Welcome to this week's Band You Might Not Know. If you'd like your band to be considered for Krista Makes a Podcast, email your best song via MP3 only and a short bio to bandyoumightnotknow@gmail.com. This week's featured artist is the Stepmoms from Atlanta, Georgia, who blend sick riffs with dreamy synth hooks and a touch of brain rot. The band also embraces unpredictability. I like it. Here's a snippet of their song, No Story to Tell.
The Wrap with Chris and Chris.
So, Chris, I'm really glad we did an episode with Bella. When she talks about songwriting, she sounds so mature beyond her years as a songwriter, I think. And it just comes through in the music, too. You wouldn't know that this is an early song from a young artist.
No, not at all. I had said she hasn't been at this for too long, only been playing out live for about a year. And I was just fascinated in how she put the pieces of the puzzle together. You know, again, it seems like it'd be easier today to go out and record your music and get it out there, but there's so many different places to start and begin and choices to make now, and which avenue do you take? And I think she killed it.
Yeah, this song is the real deal, like right from the heart, really about herself. It's not like she's just writing some fluff down. She basically had an explanation and something real for every lyric in this song. I love that. But hey, something that you didn't really talk about too much about this song that I really wanted to bring up, those melody runs in the chorus, to me, make this song. Like when she's on, the one word, and those like perfect melody runs, those are what hook me on this song.
Yeah, when she says like a wildflower and fire tower,
yeah,
and she does the vocal, yeah. I mean, I call them little vocal hiccups. It's awesome. I think a lot with songs, Chris, it's where you're coming from. Sometimes it's lightning in a bottle. I keep looking for things. I love the song so much, and now I'm looking, like I told her, I was kind of joking, but I wasn't. Now I'm looking for things that I don't like about it. And there's not one thing that I would change in this tune. I'm a stickler too. I'm like, you should have brought those oohs back in the last chorus or something. And I think they did a great job. I think it's really cool, the connecting of the dots here. This is kind of piecemeal together. She wrote this tune. She was a guitar player. She can play all right. I've seen her play live, but she went ahead. She handed off the guitar to a guitar player named Adam Ohlendorf and trusted in him to craft the part, and he did great.
Yeah, man, it's awesome to be able to trust the musicians around you to take something you've created and take it to the next level. And some people don't want to do that. So, and that's fine if you want to play everything yourself, but I think serving the song should always come first.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously this producer, Jim Riley, he knows what he's doing. The song sounds great. The mix is great. And yeah, she's funding the project, but there wasn't like this, I know when I was younger, it's kind of like, oh, I'm paying for studio time. This guy must know what he's doing. No, she knew what she wanted out of this project. She said, I'm not feeling what happened with the vocals. They went back to North Carolina and she cut the vocals with Nathan Wyatt, who he prides himself on vocal production, and he just... he has everything to back it up. It's awesome.
I think the DIY attitude gets associated a lot with punk rock, but it goes way beyond punk rock. It's so cool that she knew a song and a band that she really loved, and she reached out and asked via Instagram and asked like, who did this? And they were like, oh, it's this guy. You got to use him. He's awesome. People are accessible now, man. And there's a lot of people out there who are crazy talented, but maybe they just haven't had their big break yet. There's lots of people doing great stuff, and maybe this could be the big break for someone. But my main point is that if you love something, you think something sounds great, you can reach out to them and be like, hey, do you have a recommendation who I can use? And next thing you know, you're surrounded with, could be producers or studio musicians or whoever to play with, and you can create something awesome.
Absolutely. And you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. You look at someone like Billie Eilish. She was making recordings in her bedroom with her brother, and look what happened. And that's a lot of the same vibe that I feel here. And I really look forward to seeing where Bella takes her songwriting. As it stands right now, we're halfway through the year. My favorite song of the year. I think this song is absolutely phenomenal. And Chris, do we have any 5-star reviews this week?
We do have a 5-star review of Chris Makes a Podcast to read. Chris, this one...
Like how I skipped talking about the Patreon, we'll get to that later. We're going to do it out of order this time.
We'll get to that. But Chris, I do first of all, I wanted to mention, I loved your Ponderosa shout out in the episode.
Do you remember Ponderosa?
I do. I thought maybe it was a buffet. Was it a buffet or not a buffet?
I think they did have a buffet.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhere along the lines of a Golden Corral, but it was like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, there used to be. Have you ever eaten at a Haas's? We have Haas's around us. Do you know what that is?
Haas.
Haas's.
No, was it a smorgasbord like Duff's?
It's like a steakhouse, but it's also like a giant salad bar, and I don't really necessarily like Haas's, but I think it's like Ponderosa vibes. Anyway, we did get a 5-star review, which is not necessarily what I would give Haas's, but we got a 5-star review this week. It's short and to the point. It's from Guacamole John. Guacamole John said, this show is entertaining, and gave us the 5 stars and just wrote, Chris is my favorite. Now, he didn't specify which Chris.
He didn't. But I got to assume it's you, though, right?
No, I got to assume it's the guy who the podcast is named after. But whatever. If he's talking about me, that's cool, too. Guacamole John, thanks for the 5 stars.
Guacamole John. That's we always get the funny names with these reviews. Thanks for leaving those 5-star reviews, and thanks for supporting our Patreon. If you want to be a member, you can head over to chrisdemakes.com, where you get bonus episodes each week of the After Party. That's the other little podcast Chris and I do that sometimes feeds back into the main show, sometimes it doesn't. And there's some people, oddly enough, Chris, that like the After Party just as much or more than the regular show here. I don't know how I feel about that.
I feel fine about it, man. I feel good about it. I just think that we're good at talking about music. That's all.
Good at talking about ourselves. Well, hey, want to thank each and every one of you, not only for your support, but for listening each week. Chris, we've been doing this for 5 years, man.
We have. 5
we
didn't even really make too much of a note of that like a couple of months ago. We didn't really make a big deal out of it. We should have made a bigger deal out of that.
We had too much going on with the Less Than Jake Summer Circus Tour that was starting a couple months ago and everything else. But hey, keep an eye out for Bella Peadon. She's awesome. Want to thank her for sitting in this week with us, and we'll catch you next week. Hey friends, have you been loving Krista Makes a Podcast? Well, spread the love by leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't hesitate to share what you enjoy about the show in an actual written review on Apple Podcasts. Not only does it help more people discover us, but we often read reviews in the wrap segment of the show. It's a quick, cost-free way to support us and takes just a minute of your time. Your reviews mean the world to us and help us keep the podcast thriving. Thank you for being a listener, and thank you for being a friend.